When we click on a created pin, the image attached to that pin is displayed in our pop-up. However, we don't see anything in our blog component. So now let's do the work of filling out this last component within the pin folder, pin content, to display the text associated with a pin. But first we need to head to blog and add one more condition. So we'll begin by importing pin content from /pin/pin content. And initially we said if we had no draft in state, then we wanted blog content to be no content. We're going to change this conditional to say if we have no draft and no current pin. So we'll destructure current pin from state. So if our user hasn't set down a draft pin and they haven't selected a created pin, then we'll show no content. Otherwise, if a user set down a draft pin, they want to add a new pin, and therefore there's no current pin, because whenever we create a draft pin, current pin is set to null, we're showing the create pin component. Otherwise, else if there's no draft and there is a current pin, meaning a pin has been selected, we'll set here blog content to pin content. So with that, let's save blog.js. And now when we select a pin, we should see in the blog area the text pin content, indicating that our pin content component is being displayed. So let's build out pin content. We'll navigate to pin content within the pin folder. And in order to show the content for the current pin, we know that we want to access our global state to get the current pin property. So we'll begin by bringing in use context and then importing the context object. That will come from .. ./context. So we'll use context up at the top of our pin context component, and we'll get back state. And from state, we can destructure current pin from it. However, in order to make current pin's properties even easier to access, we'll go one level deeper and destructure state.currentPin, and from it get the pin's title, content, author, created at, and comments. So let's begin by uncommenting our components, material UI components, and we'll return in our markup a div with the class name of classes.root. Then we'll have a typography component in which we'll interpolate the title, where the component will be h2, the variant h4, the color primary, and gutter bottom. Then we'll have another typography component underneath. This will contain first this face icon. So face icon will have a class name of classes.icon, and to the right of it we'll interpolate the author's name from author.name, and typography itself will have the class name classes.text. The component will be an h3, the variant h6, the color will be inherit, and gutter bottom here as well. Then another typography component where we'll interpolate the created at timestamp, and to the left of it we'll have the access time icon. And its class name will also be classes.icon. And for this typography component, the class name classes.text, variant subtitle 2, color inherit, and gutter bottom. Then finally, for the pin content itself, we'll have our final typography component with the variant subtitle 1 and gutter bottom. So let's save pin content and check this out in the browser. We'll select a pin, and we can see our title, the author name, the timestamp for when it was created, and the text content. And the last thing that I want to do in this video is to format this timestamp into something more readable. So for that, we'll use another function from the date functions library, and this will be the format function. So we'll import format from datefns/format. So where we interpolated created at, we will execute format and again convert created at to a number with the number function. And then the format for it will be the short form of the month with MMM, meaning February will be Feb. The day of the month with a suffix with capital D-O, then a comma, and then the full year with YYYY. So let's save. And now when we look at the date, we see it's in a much more readable format.